Good morning, Hickory Sunrise.
Good morning.
Please join with me in honoring our country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve, would you offer invocations?
Absolutely. Let's bow. Lord God, we thank you for this day. We thank you, Lord, for these people around this table, Lord, whose mission is service above self. Lord, we ask you to bless as we go through this day. We pray your grace, your mercy, and your favor follow and abide with us. And Father, we ask you to be with the families of the students at UNC Charlotte. Who lost loved ones last evening. We thank you in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, sir. Mr. Honeycutt.
Yes, good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning.
Good morning,
All right,
Good morning, Mr. Honeycutt.
Good morning.
Wayne.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Wayne.
Good morning.
Now tell him.
All right, now we're gonna get ready.
Wayne, good morning.
Good morning. All right. Devin, first
Regina
of all,
needs to
is
say
the
good morning.
temperature clear?
Yeah, I searched for Ron Leach out there to see if he could help me. This is a two-man job these days, I think, but there's no sign of him. So as far as I know, it is.
Okay.
All the electronic security I put in place is still there.
Good. So we're in good shape then. All right.
But it's still in the box.
Yes.
All right.
I don't know
Bob,
how to connect to that.
you have an announcement this morning, and for a new member, would you officially introduce our new member?
I will. You've heard a rumor that there was another lady joining our group some time ago, and I kept telling you, I finally have somebody to show you. This is Regina Waller. She's ops manager at Capital Bank, Maine, across from First Baptist, and she is transferred here from Taylorsville, and we're glad to have her.
Yes, we are.
Yes, Steve.
I think it would be good for the club to go around and introduce themselves to her as well.
Absolutely.
Good idea.
Jim,
Jim Starkey.
retired Air Force and Army.
Yes.
Right.
Roger Irvin, Chief Human Resource Officer at Catawba Valley Community College.
Steve Hunt, Chief of Staff of Safety and Security at Catawba Valley Community College.
Wayne. All right, Wayne Honeycutt, Sergeant at Arms, retired, and it's difficult to keep the order in this place, so I want you to know, we tried.
Mike Warren, committee. I'm Glenn Rhodes from the Treasury. You'll learn to loathe me.
Richard Tucker.
That's all you know. Yeah, that's enough. Everybody knows
He's
Richard
a
Tucker.
Jake's
I
good.
haven't Sinclair. I have I import products for the security industry and distribute them.
Which we never see.
Which we never see, no. Unless every time you use an ATM, the chances are, oh, I guess.
My name is Brittany, and I'm part of the Gastonia Club, but I'll talk in a second.
Ryan McCrary, I work at CDC with K64.
Jenny White, we know each other.
Yes.
And Rick Van Dett, retired educator.
Okay, good deal, thank you, welcome to our club. All right, first of all, Jake, if you handle everything.
I got it on money, yes indeed. Jake's
All right,
looking
you
good.
haven't put your money up, please do so. Last week, Glenn arranged for a program. We had the program here, and as a result of the program, we did a field trip. And I was impressed with what I saw. And you have anything else, Glenn, you'd like to add? I thought it was
Just thanks
nice.
to everybody showing up that could make it and not showing out actually. But I think it's nice. I know the club at some point earlier had voted to provide funding for the Walk With Me farm, and some folks can help me with this, but they use horses for their therapeutic purposes, and children who are having difficulties or perhaps challenged children, and even adults, I'm not sure. They'll work with just about anyone that's having issues relationally, etc. So we're able to actually then go and see and present the check. Rick presented the check, and so it just gave us a chance to kind of get out in the community and see where the money's going and what's being done, and so it was kind of neat, you know. So
What was cool too, the next day, I took a check from the veterans to the farm, and they had 3 autistic children on horses. And it was wonderful to see how they interacted and things. It was pretty neat. We did a good thing. Thank you for setting it up.
Yes,
Well,
excellent, excellent program.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, a couple questions. Okay, Rick, what was the name of the white Belgian horse or draft horse out in that arena?
Lucky.
No, I need $1 for that. I need $1. Now, also, I gave you that question. All right, I will give you the answer, but I talked to Jennifer.
Okay.
I went back and talked with her, and she asked that we make a presentation to the club, a member of the club from the farm, because she was impressed with what our club did. And I thought that was very nice, but I did go down. And since I asked you that question, I'm going to present you the gift from the farm, from Jennifer to you. Okay?
Let's forget me wrong, right?
And it's not a cow pie.
That was a horse farm. Horse farm.
The horse farm, yes.
It is. That is from Quinny, the big white horse.
Can we auction this off?
You're an educator, you used to get the boxes of that.
That's why I'm no longer an educator.
By the way, the staff there really was pleased with the club and the interest you showed in their efforts. And they're even going to use our video of our club meeting as part of their publicity development.
She had come and spoken to the Friday group that Jim and I belong to the veterans, a couple months ago, I think, something like that. Because she has a special program for veterans as well, which is why a couple of us went to see her, gave her a donation, and within a couple of weeks, we're going to hold our Friday meeting there. I think it's going to be good for a lot of our veterans to get involved with that and do it. Okay, Gavin, you have today's program.
Yes, well, I don't. Brittany does here. Brittany's come up from Gastonia today. She's a member of, which club in Gastonia?
Gastonia.
Just Gastonia Club, okay. And she's also the executive director of Carolina Cross Connection, which, this is what she provided me with, has been meeting needs of people in Western North Carolina for the past 32 years by building wheelchair ramps, porches, and steps for families that cannot afford them. They also have programs that work with the homeless in Asheville and Charlotte, and orphanages in Honduras. In addition, they invite churches to be part of a week-long summer camp to plan projects before sending them out. Brittany's going to come to it. You can go up there, or you can
Can I sit?
do it from here. You can sit.
I can do that. I'll just pass this around. This is just who we are in case I missed something or whatever. But my name is Brittany. I am a part of the Gastonia Club. I'm originally from Odessa, Texas, which the only way you would know where that is if you know oil or if you know football. And the movie Friday Night Lights, the book Friday Night Lights, the TV show Friday Night Lights is about Odessa, Texas. And so high school football ruled the day. So I know a little bit about football. I am a Cowboys fan and a Texas Longhorn fan, so I don't run up against you when it comes to basketball, which is great because our basketball team's terrible. And so but it's been a really interesting journey, my time here. I went to school in Georgia. I got my degree in opera, which I'm using that beautifully. And then went back to school in Texas and got a degree in theology. And worked as a youth pastor during all of that time. And then I moved back to this side of the country in 2012 to start Carolina Cross Connections Honduras program. That's why they brought me here. I was on summer staff when I went to school in Georgia. I was on summer staff with Carolina Cross in 2006 and fell in love with how they did ministry. Because the idea was you brought students 6th to 12th grade to camp. You did camp things. We did fun camp things. But during the day, you went out into communities and served. And my first camp experience was actually in this county. And so I got to learn what you see is not always what's there. There's more behind. There's more to see. There's more to understand about communities. And then we got to go back to camp and really download it and figure out what we were seeing and what that meant for us outside of camp. So our big push always is, it's great that you came and did a week of camp, and we're thankful for that, obviously, because we'd be out of business. But what can you do at home? What is your role now at home? Now that you've seen, now that you've experienced, now that we've equipped you with these tools and this ability to maybe get a group together and build a wheelchair ramp, or get a group together and mow someone's yard. Now how can you do that at home? And I think what impressed me about this organization the most when I was in college was how much they push sitting on couches. So the work is good, the work is necessary, but the more important need that we have found in any county we serve is to sit on people's couches, to learn more about them as people, to learn about their families, to learn about what's going on. Because a lot of people that we end up building wheelchair ramps for haven't seen other people in a while, besides their social worker. And so the opportunity to teach a 6th grader, a 12-year-old, to an 18-year-old, to a 88-year-old, depending on who comes to camp, to have the opportunity to sit and to learn and to grow and to learn from instead of doing for, I think is really always the attitude that we want to take. So 32 years ago, we started in 3 counties, Gaston, Cleveland, and Lincoln County. And then in 1991, we grew into this county and several other counties. And we've been serving in this county since 1991. We've built safe access projects for 750 people in your county. And so that safe access would mean wheelchair ramps, would mean porches, would mean shoring up, handrails if that was needed, anything like that. So we get all of our names from social services or Meals on Wheels or different agencies of that nature. They give us names. We employ college students in the summer, and they will infiltrate your county very soon. And they'll go out and visit all of the people that we have names for and see if this scope of work is something we can do. They'll get to know the families, and then they'll schedule. And they'll schedule for 6 weeks of the summer, and we'll have groups come in. And we do camp. We used to do camp at Camp Carrollwood for this county, but since Camp Carrollwood is no longer, we're a little bit further up the road in Wilkes County, but we drive down to this county. That's how we operate in this way, because Wilkes County opened up their school district to us, and so we're in Central Wilkes Middle School. And so we drive down and serve this county for 6 weeks in the summer and build wheelchair ramps, porches, community hardware, things of that nature. So that started 32 years ago. We since have done around 17,000 projects from what I can gather in information like that. And so we bring churches in from all over this part of the country. They come to camp. We have like a theme throughout the week that we teach. Like last year we taught about Jonah and what did Nineveh was worth saving, and talked about what does that look like and things like that. So we talk about obviously scripture during the week, but then we send out during the day. And so I really my point in being here today, my reason of being here is just to make you aware that there will be hundreds of students coming to your county in just a few weeks that want to love and serve your community, want to infiltrate homes and sit and listen and learn from and grow and be a part of that. And so that's one of our programs, is our home repair program. It's been around the longest. We also work, in 2011 we started working in Asheville with people that are experiencing homelessness. So homeless people is typically how a lot of us would say that, and I've learned from our person that leads that, people experiencing homelessness. Because the truth of the matter is some people, they're experiencing and then they're in housing for a little bit and then they might be experiencing it again, and so they're not just in this big category of they're homeless. It's an ebb and flow process. And so we work with a church there that is just doing really cool work called Haywood Street Community. And their heart is, they went into the community and they said, when do you meet church? And that community said, usually about Wednesday at 1 o'clock is when I'm making a decision if I'm going to fall off the the proverbial wagon. And they said, that's when we're gonna do church then. So they serve a meal. They have all kinds of agencies that come and are there to help with job searches, to help with housing, to help with whatever they need. Someone to do haircuts, someone to help with job interviews, someone to, like, they're just incredible at what they're doing. And we partner with them and learn from them. They show us around Asheville, they take care of us in that way. And we've been holding hands with them since 2011, and we love.
Their name was Haywood, what?
Haywood Street Congregation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Just really doing cool work, and we started in Charlotte 3 years ago. It's a very different environment. Asheville and Charlotte obviously could not be more different environments. However, when it comes to the homeless population in those two cities, they're handled in very different ways. So we've learned a lot about what that looks like and what that means. In Asheville, it's more open, welcoming in a lot of ways. In Charlotte, it's like, how can we hide these people the best that we can and get them off? Especially since the NBA All-Star Game was here a couple of months ago, literal camps that had been around for 10 years were just completely wiped out. And so how do we walk beside people that's their reality? They were just displaced like that. And so that's what we're doing in Charlotte. And then in 2013, I came along and was able to start our program in Honduras. And our heart there is education. We partner with 8 private children's homes there. There was a public system when we started. There's no longer a public orphanage system now, which I could make a very long case about the good and bad of that. The bad of that is if a kid is abandoned, there's nowhere for them to go. The government doesn't have anywhere for them to go. So they're living on the street, or you name it. So there are more than 100 private orphanages in Honduras trying to get these kids off of the street. We've been partnered with the same 8 since we started. My heart in all of our areas is that we really drill down and not out, right? So how do we really become laser focused? How do we really dig deeper into relationship instead of trying to shotgun approach everything and be shallow in a bunch of areas? And so we have drilled down into these children's homes. We have a lot of churches that are like paying for them to go to bilingual school. That at this point, because we've been there for so long, are helping kids go to college. Different things like that. We believe obviously Jesus is the answer, but to break a cycle of poverty, we believe education is the way to do that. And so the more we can take churches to see, to understand, and the more that we can invest in their education, I think the better chance we have of breaking their cycle of poverty. And so that's the heart there. That's what we do there. All of our programs are run exactly the same. They're run by college students in Honduras. It's run by Honduran college students because that makes the most sense, right? But they're run by college students. We've employed 554 college students over 32 years. I was one of them. And it changed my life because I was given crazy, we're about to bring in a whole new batch of them, and I'm like, this is kind of outrageous, but like we give them control of our budget. We give them control, they help, I set the budget, they stay within it. It's like learning how to do that. It's learning how to manage people's emotions because they're seeing things they haven't seen before. It's learning how to walk beside students in that, but also walk beside adults, which, if I'm going to be honest with you, is harder. To walk beside adults than it is to walk beside students. Students have this uncanny ability to be like, yeah, I love you, and let's do this, and I'm in, and adults are like, I don't know, you kind of sketch me out, there's a different feeling sometimes, and so how do you walk beside equally and validate feelings equally, but also push to love more, because that's what we really want to do. And so in the morning, there's a of camp, there's a devotion time, and they go out and serve no matter what program they're in. Then they come back and we have fun camp activity stuff. Then we do small groups and worship, go to bed, get up and do it again. And so they're there from Sunday to Saturday, and then we roll over the next week, Sunday to Saturday, 6 weeks in a row. The way that we're able to do this, obviously, most of you know how nonprofits work, right? Is we have a really incredible donor base that take care of us. Last year, our donor base gave $286,000. That covers all of our material costs. We try to keep camper costs low, so that we're not excluding any socioeconomic level of camper. We want any church to be able to come. So we keep camper costs as low as we can. And then my job now, as of 2 years ago, is the donor relations side of it. Is how do we get people to invest in materials, in different educational programs we're doing in Honduras, and in different agencies that we think are doing, that we're holding hands with, like Haywood Street. How do we get people to invest in those agencies? And so that's my role now. We have a 4-person administration. It's me, and my role is to oversee all, but also the money side of things. Then I have someone who's over home repair, someone who's over urban, and someone who's over overseas. We see about 1,500 campers come through and campers, adult and student, every year. And our goal is to grow. That's my heart anyway, is to grow. So again, like I said, my point in going to as many Rotaries as I can in the counties that we're serving is just to make you aware that there are people coming to your county. I actually talked to the Taylorsville Club last year, and I'm talking to them in a couple weeks. And so it's to just let you know, like, we are here. If you see us, we're gonna be the weirdos in long pants and t-shirts because it's hot, and why are you in long pants, first of all. Second of all, we wear wooden name tags. So if you're in the community and you see someone with a lanyard on and a wooden name tag, that's us. And we would just love for you to encourage our campers if you see them in the community, and just to know that we're doing our best to love your community. And we have been since 1991 and hope to do it until forever. And so that's all. It's an awareness.
Where is Cross Connection housed?
We are in Gastonia.
Yeah, but I mean at Bethel Church or where?
Where's my office? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
We have a really small office building that the 4 of us have. It's near the ball fields in Gastonia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're not out of a church.
I'd like to get some contact information before you leave.
Absolutely.
Jim and I work with veterans, homeless veterans.
Yes.
We try to do the same kind of things you're doing. I'd love to get connected with
I would
you.
love to talk to you more about that. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's awesome. There's a contractor that works in this area who's really awesome. That any veteran we work for in this area, he pays for it. So.
Yeah,
So you want to know him?
I definitely want to know that.
I'll give you his information. He's awesome. So any veteran that we build a ramp for, any veteran, he covers most of the cost of that, which is really wonderful.
You're gonna ask, it's not Les Wicker, is it? Okay.
As you said, because 1,500 students
Yeah.
or participants
Yes,
a
yes.
year. Where did they come? Do they all come from the local area, or what's the furthest to where
So
they come from?
this summer, the furthest person is coming from Maryland to this area.
And how does that person connect up with you? Is that through their local church, or?
Sure. So yeah, that's a great question. So most of our participants are through the local church, like through churches. So like youth groups sign up for us. So that church in Maryland, we require 1 adult for every 7 students. So that's how many people are coming. They bring a vehicle so that because our work groups are about 7 people, which it works out really well that way. We mix churches if they want to be, and that way some kid from Maryland can be working from a kid from North Carolina, which is always a good time. And trying to bridge that gap. But they work together on building. They'll do 2 or 3 projects a week, just depending on how fast their group works.
And the projects are typically still mostly these access things?
Yes,
or-
that's our goal. Yeah, so we're not building houses. We're not roofing houses because insurance liability is too expensive. But so we're building mainly ramps, which is giving people the ability to get to doctor's appointments or get to. We built a ramp last week for someone in Gastonia that if they didn't get a ramp, they were going to be removed from their home.
Who keeps track of the ramp specs for you? Because I built 2 for neighbors on wheelchairs, and boy, following
Yeah.
and getting the turnaround space,
Yep. Yeah.
not too
So-
much incline and,
Yeah. So we have contractors that train our staff.
okay.
And then we have what we call project directors on our staffs that they're college students, but they're tasked with They're usually like third or fourth year on staff, and they're tasked with keeping up with that. And then we have a project admin during the summer that comes in and goes and checks all of them. So, yeah, big process there for sure. It's a task.
How many properties in Catawba County do you expect to do?
This summer we'll probably work for 25 to 30 in this county.
It's impressive.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And we love this county. We are all in this county. The counties are listed under communities if you're interested in other counties we serve. This year we're adding Dare County, which is in the Outer Banks. It's been a really interesting journey with adding that county. We haven't added a county on the coast ever. We're, as you can see, pretty centrally located here in Western North Carolina. But just felt like something there. Thought it might be Wilmington, and every door shut when we went that direction, and so started moving upward. And in Dare County, the doors opened so wide, and they were like, please, you know. And it's been really interesting. Whereas here, you see a lot of the mills shut down, and so there, you know, that's poverty was coming out of that. There, fishing communities are shutting down, and so it looks almost identical to what happened here in some of the areas in that county. It's been really interesting. Like, we know this. Like, we know, you know, they're just talking about fishing instead of whatever mill was
The
here.
text in your scope of activity makes me think that you might also be inclined to make interior modifications for limited access problems, wheelchairs that can't get through a doorway or something.
No. So we're a limited scope. There's not a whole lot of interior besides painting or things like that we would do. Mainly, you're talking about structural integrity of the house, and you don't want us to do that. Yeah.
You don't overcome something like
No,
that.
that's not something we would do.
Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty. Like I said, we're gonna drill in and do what we do well, and not try to do things that we know will fail at. You know, and that would be something we would fail at. So yeah, that's how we operate, and I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for clubs like yours and clubs like mine and this Taylorsville club. You know, like that are serving the community all the time. Because we're 6 weeks in, and then we're out. And so we love to partner with organizations that are on feet in the ground all the time. In Honduras, we do that. In Asheville, we do that. In our communities, we love to do that as well.
All your projects are virtually wood.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Any other questions for Brittany? Brittany, we have a little gift for you.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a coaster made for Sunrise Rotary Club. Our Sergeant at Arms makes these for all of our guests.
Why
and
don't
we
you back
hope
up toward the banner, guys?
Take this, and, okay?
They gotta get our picture.
All right.
Ceremony.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. And this is my contact information.
Great, thank you.
If you could send me an email.
You got it.
Contact, I would
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I will do that. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Before I leave here.
Super, thank you. I have a couple of announcements, but Richard, you go ahead first.
Well, I was going to mention, Bob Steiger made mention to me this morning that next week's program is at Starstead, and he'd like to meet in the parking lot at 7:15. In the parking lot of Starstead.
Parking lot at Starstead at 7:15.
Because they want us all to go in at one time, single time. 7:15, Starstead.
Oh, shoot, I won't be here. I was gonna have Roger shoot camera, but he can't shoot camera in there.
That's all right.
Peter let me do it a little bit, but anything you can grab that I can put up on the website would help.
I did not get to go last time, and Austin Pierce told me it was one of the best things he'd ever been to.
Excellent.
And so I'm looking forward to it. Do we have the address of that place?
I don't have it. I don't have it.
Okay.
And then he can get some of the rest.
Should be able to get it from Bob. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll put it out on the Google.
Of course, yeah, everybody has the address of that place. It's in your phone.
Absolutely.
Google it.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes.
Phil is not here today. He is hanging sheetrock in Willington, but he and Bobby, his wife, attended the district conference for us last week, and he mentioned to us that our club received the Governor's Distinguished Club Citation. So, great job on the pink pages stuff, and I think there was a second one.
Club of Excellence.
Yeah, Club of Excellence and the Governor's Distinguished Club Award. Those of us who are going to Asheville on the 18th for leadership training, we'll pick up those things and bring them back here so you can take a look. But good work too. And a lot of the work, as you well know, that goes into getting these awards is Rhino's work for us. And Bob, thank you. I sent you a copy of the budget, that the draft. We will talk about it again on the following week, 2 weeks from today. If you have any questions, what we're looking for is to approve it as quickly as we can. I shared with you that I added the grant payment to it. And I have not heard back from anybody about any concerns or questions on what I sent out, so please take a look at that. And the only other thing that I have is, Wayne, have you got the Rotary magazine with you?
I do not. I have April, but I do not have May.
Okay. We've all gotten our Rotary magazine by now. I hope you've looked at the front cover. And the front cover refers to the four-way test. In the age of untruths, how important is that four-way test, especially that first line in the four-way test? I hope as Rotarians that we take it to heart, that we don't give the four-way test lip service or the phrase service above self lip service. Our program today is a great example of service above self, trying to reach out and help other people. This club is known for that. And that's what we do. The dollars that go for Jake's food is every single penny that goes to help somebody in need, and that's a pretty good effort. So we want to keep that. We don't. Let me see if I say this right. Service above self is not just a motto for us. It's something we believe in, and I hope we would take that same mindset toward the four-way test, because this is very, very important for us to understand truth and to be truthful. And as Rotarians, I think that's our obligation. Any thoughts or comments? Anything else we need to hear before we close?
In the service above self thing, I sent you guys an email yesterday groveling for some folks to come watch the teachers administer a test to kids. It's so much fun. You get to sit and walk around and watch kids take a test. You can't talk. You can't be on your device. You can't even have your device. And, you know, the kids are bubbling. Yay! It's one of the most entertaining and exciting old 2.5 hours that I can offer to you.
You just failed the four-way test.
Did you not hear those sarcasm dripping? But it is something that we have to have. The state actually no longer requires proctors because Mark Johnson says he trusts teachers. Speaking of the four-way test. But Hickory Public Schools is still requiring the use of proctors. So if anybody, I sent you some dates, and thank you to Regina and now to Rick, who I have guilted into this. If anybody has a couple of hours of free time in the morning on those dates, we would be grateful to have your presence, and we'll give you like some breakfast snack.
And if you want to see Jenny really smile, serve and cause a misadministration, and she'll be so happy.
Yeah, no. You just failed the four-way test.
Before we close, a little sunshine. We've got a couple minutes here yet. Speaking of schooling, many of us are over 50 in this room. Some of us are over 70 in this room.
You got a side
There's 3 or 4 of us over 70 in this room. But many of us don't realize we were actually homeschooled. We were. For example, my mother taught me to appreciate a job well done. If you're going to kill each other, do it outside. I just finished cleaning. My mother taught me religion. You better pray that I'll come out of the carpet. My father taught me time travel. If you don't straighten up, I'm going to knock you in the middle of next week. My father taught me logic. Because I said so, that's why. My mother taught me more logic. If you fall out of that swing and break your neck, you're not going to the store with me. And more, which we'll save for other times. Steve.
Of the things we think,
Say or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a good week.
You know you missed Tuesday. Thank you.